Good evening. This is Mr. Too Easy on War Empowerment Hour. So this is where I talk about my veteran experience from before the military, during the military, and after the military. And I talk about basically just random topics of combat PTSD, TBI, depression, and things like that. And today we'll be having with us Michael Bluemling Jr. He is I'll read his bio. It says, after serving in the U.S. Army, having obtained the rank of sergeant and receiving numerous medals, Michael Bluemling Jr. worked for the Department of Labor and Department of Veteran Affairs. He is the founder of Power of One, a disabled veteran-owned company based out of Richmond, Virginia. So he is currently running for Congress in Florida District 21. So of course, reached out to him since he's a veteran and prior service, so we can get him on the show and find out why he's running and ask him a few questions. So we're going to wait for him to call on in. But in the meanwhile, if you're tuning in, this is WRGG 93.7 FM. So definitely this is where we're basically the people's radio station, and we enjoyed bringing all the facts and all the things to you, whether it's from high school play-by-play on Tuesdays and on Sunday evenings throughout the week. Also, we support a lot of organizations in this in our county and in our state. So here's a few things. Genzel Wines and WRGG are teaming up to make you a winner. Once a month, we'll be given a chance to win wine tasting for two. Genzel Wine, located at 251 Grant Street, Chambersburg, Pennsylvania. Of course, you must be 21 to win. But it's just easy to do. You know, it's the last Wednesday of each month, called Wine Wednesdays, and be the correct caller and be a winner. So that is so wonderful, so great. Then, of course, you know we have John Allison Public House this Sunday. John Allison Public House. It's another community fundraiser. 15% of the sales goes to the Greencastle Atrium class of 2021. So you can dine in style and give to the community at the same time. Just stop in John Allison Public House here in Greencastle, and also with WRGG 93.7. So as we wait for him to call in, of course, I'm Mr. Too Easy, done 16 years in the Army, been all over the world, all over God Green's country, and it's been wonderful. So I'm on my new journey. I go to Martinsburg, West Virginia as my VA, and I have a wonderful treatment team, so it's pretty awesome. So, of course, this week was a pretty good week. We had some snow, and last night was some ice, so it was pretty cold, a little icy out there. Hope everyone made it to and from safely. Temperatures will drop tonight in the 20s, I believe, so still be careful driving out and about. Be safe. Make sure you have enough stuff in your vehicle just in case it's traffic, so you have something to drink, a warm blanket or stuff like that, and you have a wonderful cell phone charger to keep your phone charged, because you don't want to have your cell phone die, because these days I haven't seen. Oh, we got a caller coming in. This is WRGG, Don Brown here, Mr. Too Easy, War Empowerment Hour.
How you doing, Michael Bluemling Jr.?
Hey, how you doing, sir?
Perfect.
You are live on the radio. I just read your introduction. So, for my listeners out there, this is Michael Bluemling Jr. After serving in the U.S. Army, he have attained the rank of sergeant and received numerous medals. Michael Bluemling Jr. worked at the Department of Labor and the Department of Veteran Affairs. He is the founder of Power of One, disabled veteran-owned company based out of Richmond, Virginia, and he's also running for Congress in District 21 in Florida. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you so much for having me on, Dominique. I appreciate it. It's a real honor. And yes, I'm running in District 21 in Florida against Lois Frankel, and she did support impeaching our president, Donald J. Trump, who's a duly elected president, through the House in a complete farce, and it's a total witch hunt against our president. So it'll be great to have someone who served in the United States Army honorably like me in the 1st Infantry Division I was a non-commissioned officer, so when I'm elected into office with the support of the American people in South Florida, it's going to be a great day, and we can get to work after this 2020 election, which is taking place on November 3rd, and we can get to the business of the people without the distraction of the left, who now has control of the House.
Yes, that's so very true. So, sir, you don't mind if I ask you a few questions, do you?
Oh, absolutely. It's a real honor to be on your show, and I'm thankful for the opportunity.
Alrighty, wonderful. So we'll start off with why did you decide to run for Congress in your district?
The reason why I decided to run for U.S. Congress is because I've done a lot of work internationally, nationally, working for the federal government, working for state government, helping to create over 30,000 jobs for veterans, working for discrimination against women, minority, individuals with disabilities, and veterans, and also volunteering in boards in South Florida, working in Tallahassee, advocating for the rights of veterans and the communities within our United States of America. And what happened is, with all this work and working with nonprofits, I realized there's a lot of fraud, waste, and abuse that occurs. And it's very frustrating as a leader who wants to try to drive change and to make a difference in this world with the gifts that God has given me as a Judeo-Christian, as a Catholic. Mm-hmm. So I've been fighting my entire life for humanity. And when you see what's happening in South Florida with human trafficking, the lack of jobs that are being created, no workforce and economic development, we're looking at the indoctrination of our children through our school and our curriculum. We definitely and desperately need education reform. We see how senior citizens and retirees are taken advantage of and left to be homeless and for dead with less than adequate care at senior citizen centers, and the insurance companies just taking everything they can from the American people without giving back. And if you look at Obamacare, that was an absolute disaster for the American people, and the retirees in South Florida are suffering greatly because of that universal health care plan that came out to try to give everyone health care and to demand that people have health care. Mm-hmm. Some people are healthy, they may not want to, or they want to choose their own health care, and they were forced if they were going to receive a penalty if they didn't pay into the system, which is an absolute disgrace because people should be able to make decisions for themselves. If you look at right to work, that's something that I support nationally as well, because right to work is kind of a similar philosophy. If you live in a state that isn't a right to work state right now, what that means is if there's union dues, you're forced to pay them. Mm-hmm. As American people and the freedom of our Constitution, and people have died and sacrificed their life for this country, you should have the choice whether you want to join the union. And if you join the union should be doing the adequate things. And I've been a part of unions before, that's how I can speak about this, mm-hmm. in Pennsylvania, in Virginia, as when I was a federal employee working for the federal government, as an exempt and a non-exempt employee. So when you're non-exempt, that means that you aren't part of a union. If you are exempt, that means that, if you're exempt, that means you can't be a part of the union. And if you're non-exempt employee, then you can be a part of the union. So I've been in both situations. Mm-hmm. And I like to choose if I want to support my local union, whether based on if they're going to be able to deliver for me. And so when we had Obamacare, now all of a sudden you don't have that right any longer. You're forced, or you have to pay a penalty on your IRS tax returns. And I think that's a problem. And then also Barack Obama, former president, lied to the American people. He said, if you like your plan, you can keep it. And we found out that's an absolute lie.
Mm-hmm. It's so very true. Yeah, that was, I know I dealt with stuff like that with Obamacare, not having insurance, and as soon as you file your taxes, you get penalized big time. And the people did not know about it. It was a lot of people didn't know about it. And it was just terrible. So, yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. And, man, you got some great views and great background. So we'll move on to the next question. Which kind of coincides with the same question because you kind of answered already. What do you bring to the table that the current incumbent don't have what do you bring to the table that your current incumbent don't have?
Absolutely. And also I want to also reiterate, I'm 100% for VA reform. Mm-hmm. We need to take care of our veterans, their families, their children. We also need to take care of our Gold Star families who have paid the ultimate sacrifice by one of their loved ones giving their life for America. So we have to make sure that we're taking care of them back here at home, whether it's a quality job, quality health care, quality behavioral health access. We need to be able to make sure we're doing that for our veterans, but also for individuals who are Americans and in the community. And what happens is, this is a big component of what I'm bringing to the table. If you look at immigration, we need immigration. Everyone is an immigrant at some point, unless you are American Indian and this is your natural land that you were occupied before it was, we came over from Europe and they settled here. So with that being said, people that are coming to this country illegally, about 20 million plus people who are here illegally, we don't know if they want to harm us. They don't know if they want to, if they're paying their debt to society, or if they're just here to be a draw on society and drawing from social services. So these are major problems that people who are in need, from vulnerable population, who may want not a hand out like a freebie, they want a hand up so they can be given a resource and an opportunity to move forward in their life. And that's what I'm all about, providing resources and education to the community and eliminating fraud, waste, and abuse. And if you look at Lois Frankel, who's the incumbent here, she hasn't done that. She's been a lifelong politician. She's supported the impeachment against our president. There's been 0 jobs that have been brought to South Florida in District 21. And these are major problems when you look at what's happening in our current environment. Our president right now has done a great job with focusing on sex trafficking. That's a major reform that I want to focus on. I want to have white-collar criminals be prosecuted at the highest level of the law and ensure that we're not allowing our leaders, supposed leaders, who are involved with the destruction of our youth, whether that's human trafficking, labor trafficking, exploiting children, pedophilia, all these grotesque things that are, becoming a part of society that we don't have a place for. That's also a billion-dollar industry. Florida's the 3rd state for child sex trafficking, human trafficking, and this is a huge problem in Palm Beach County. And we had